An Iranian ship believed to be carrying Russian weapons has just sunk. But here's the twist. No one really knows why. Was it a mechanical failure, a covert attack, or something even darker? As tensions between the United States and Iran reach their boiling point, this mysterious sinking could be the spark that ignites a much larger crisis. Now, what if I told you that this sinking might not be an accident? What if it's part of a bigger game we can barely even see? Stick with me because we're about to uncover a truth that's more explosive than anyone's letting on. And the craziest part? This might only be the beginning. This isn't just another sinking. It's happening against the backdrop of rising military tensions, where one small move could set off an explosive chain reaction. The U.S. and Iran are already on the brink of a full-blown showdown. Military assets are being surged into the region. American bases are on high alert. And just when you thought things couldn't escalate any further, this ship goes down. But what does it mean? Was this ship just another casualty, or is it a signal? Is it a message from someone who wants to see the conflict explode into something bigger? And who exactly is involved? The ship's cargo has always been secret, but this one was reportedly carrying weapons to Russia, weapons that are fueling the war against Ukraine. So the real question is, why now? Why this ship? Why in the Caspian Sea and not closer to Russian shores? The timing of this incident makes everything feel too precise, like it's all happening for a reason. Here's where things get even more unsettling. The Iranian vessel, called the Rona, wasn't just another freighter. It was one of the primary ships used to transport weapons to Russia. And this isn't just speculation. Reports confirm that from October 2024 to December 2025, this very ship made at least 20 trips carrying weapons from Iranian ports to Russia. So we know one thing for sure. This ship was critical in supplying Russia with the weapons it needs to keep fighting the war in Ukraine. But here's the thing. No one seems to know exactly what was on board when the ship sank. No one's confirmed if it was carrying more drones or something far more dangerous. But the Rona was always used for one thing, delivering weapon systems. That's what makes this so alarming. The ship didn't sink in the middle of nowhere. It was in a hot spot. Notice what's missing here. No official word on what it was actually carrying, and no one's talking about who might have been behind this. Was this an accident, or did someone decide to take it down? Now let's take a step back and think about how quickly this situation has escalated. A ship carrying secret weapons sinks in the Caspian Sea, a region already brimming with geopolitical tensions. And just days earlier, the United States had moved its military assets into the region, intensifying a standoff that could easily go global. This feels like something straight out of a spy thriller, but it's not just a random incident. The stakes have been rising steadily. The U.S. has been on edge, its military on high alert, ready for a possible confrontation with Iran. The U.S. has been drawing lines in the sand, and with every passing moment, those lines seem to be getting closer to crossing. What's most chilling? The normalization of this kind of behavior, ships sinking, weapons shipments vanishing, it's becoming the new normal. And with each passing day, more incidents like this may become regular news until one day it isn't just ships sinking, it's something far, far bigger. Just when you thought it couldn't get worse, here comes the next bombshell. The Rona isn't the first mysterious sinking to grab headlines. In December 2024, a Russian cargo ship, the Ursa Major, mysteriously sank off the coast of Spain. That ship was carrying undeclared nuclear reactor components, which were most likely destined for North Korea. Investigators later revealed that the ship had been torpedoed. The evidence? Damage consistent with a cavitating torpedo, meaning someone took it down from the outside. Now let's connect the dots. We have two ships, one Iranian, one Russian, both involved in covert operations, both sinking under mysterious circumstances, and both potentially tied to even bigger geopolitical games. The Rona was carrying weapons to Russia, and the Ursa Major was delivering nuclear reactor parts. Both sinks don't just happen, they're part of a pattern. And this pattern isn't just coincidence, it's too precise, too calculated. Someone, somewhere, is pulling strings. Here's the kicker. The Rona was supposed to be carrying weapons for Russia, likely drones, and now it's gone. So what happens next? We don't know yet, but the situation is spiraling, and that changes everything. The pieces are falling into place and fast. First, we have a Russian ship sinking under mysterious circumstances while transporting nuclear reactor parts to North Korea. Then, not long after, an Iranian ship sinks in the Caspian Sea while allegedly carrying weapons to Russia. And while all this happens, the United States is on the brink of war with Iran, surging military assets into the region, preparing for a potential strike. But that's not all. Reports are coming in from multiple sources that the United States has been evacuating its military bases in the region, and Iran, they're not backing down. They've ramped up their operations, their rhetoric, and their military readiness. The entire situation is a powder keg, and the fuse is burning faster than anyone expected. What happens if this continues? If tensions keep escalating at this pace, we could soon see something much bigger than sinking ships. This is a situation that feels more and more like an international flashpoint, and it's all happening right now, out of the public's view. The world is teetering, and the consequences of these events could echo for years to come. This isn't just about ships, weapons, or governments. It's about real people. You, me, everyone who's watching is impacted by the decisions being made right now. While world leaders and military officials make their moves, ordinary people are caught in the crossfire. The tensions in the Caspian Sea, the nuclear reactor parts, the weapons shipments, it's all setting the stage for events that could affect millions of lives. Imagine this, a small fishing village in the Caspian Sea, miles from any military base, but suddenly a ship sinks. And what was it carrying? No one knows for sure. The uncertainty is a pressure cooker that builds over time. The war in Ukraine rages on with weapons supplied by countries like Iran and Russia, and the world watches from the sidelines, hoping for peace, but bracing for the worst. If this feels familiar to you in some way, if you can sense the escalating tension in your own life, then you're not alone. The fallout from these geopolitical games reaches further than any of us realize. And the truth is, ordinary people are the ones who will bear the consequences. It's easy to get lost in the drama of these events. The ship sinks, the weapons are lost, and the world holds its breath. But behind all of this, there's a system at work, one that has been evolving for decades. The fact is, these events are happening because of leverage, fear, and the spectacle of power. Countries like the US, Russia, and Iran aren't just playing chess. They're playing a high-stakes game where every move is calculated. Weapons are moved in secret, cargo ships disappear, and military tensions rise. Why? Because in the world of global politics, there's an ever-present need to maintain leverage. And when that leverage starts to slip, you see incidents like this. The sinking of the Rona isn't just about one ship. It's about a much larger game of influence. Russia is fighting a war on its own turf. Iran is desperately trying to maintain its position, and the US is trying to keep its foothold in the Middle East. All of this feeds into one giant spectacle, one that thrives on uncertainty. The chaos serves as a form of control, a way to keep the world distracted while larger plans unfold in the shadows. And here's the unsettling truth. This system isn't as broken as it seems. In fact, it's working just as it was designed to. We're at a crossroads right now, and the next moves will determine which direction the world goes. If tensions between the US and Iran continue to escalate, the next few weeks could set off an uncontrollable chain of events. There are two possible paths forward, and both carry huge risks. One path is military intervention. The U.S. could strike Iran, triggering a direct confrontation. With military assets already being mobilized, this could rapidly escalate into an all-out regional war. And with Russia already involved in Ukraine, the situation could spiral into a much broader conflict, one that could draw in NATO, China, and other global powers. The other path? A more covert escalation, one where each side continues to push and probe using proxies, ships, and weapons shipments to slowly wear down the opponent, a quiet, growing pressure that leads to an eventual tipping point. But even this path brings its own dangers, as small miscalculations can lead to massive consequences. One thing's clear, we don't know what will happen next, but the pieces are already in motion. The fuse is lit, and no one can predict when or how it will explode. The sinking of the Rona is just one small part of a much bigger story, one that's unfolding right now, where the stakes couldn't be higher and the consequences even harder to predict. This isn't just about ships or weapons or even geopolitics. It's about the future of global power and the silent, invisible forces shaping it behind the scenes. But here's the twist. This story isn't over. Not by a long shot. There's so much more beneath the surface, and the next move is already being planned. So what happens next? Only time will tell. But if you're watching, you know things are about to get even crazier. If you don't want to miss what comes next, hit that subscribe button. Stick around for more in-depth analysis because the world's just getting started and we're only getting warmed up.